Hi, I think it is working now. A misconfiguration in OBS Studio. Yes, Andreas, it was mute. Do you hear me now? Is sounds working? I think it is working now. Yes. Oh my God. Sorry, sorry. My first time as YouTuber. Okay. Well, in Spain we use it to wait 5 minutes. So there it has passed more than 5 minutes. So we will begin. I've moved to here. Okay. Do you mind the presentation? Will will go one moment in chat. We'll go in three parts. First, we will with product presentation in these slides. Secondly, we have a live demo of RAD Basic, how it is developed until now, and at the end, I'm answering your questions. I see there are questions already in chat. I I try to answer all. Sorry with my English. I hope you can understand well. I'm not native English, and sadly my English is not as good as it has to be. But I will do my best, and if you have questions about I am speaking, don't hesitate to to make in chat. Well, I'm beginning this presentation of RAD Basic. As you know, we are in Kickstarter campaign, crowdfunding campaign for collecting funds for finishing the development. Okay. First, I want to present me. I am Carlos Royan. Winston in Spanish, better, but a lot of people don't understand English. Well, I am Carlos Royan. I am the lead developer of RAD Basic. I'm a software engineer for about 15 years, well, 17 years, and I am not new in compilers field. I've worked in compilers in university, and I agree a lot compilers, but I don't have the chance of working in my professional work. Uh, but I did some work in company in my employer with ANTL, with Hibernate, that is an ORM library, and in fact, compilers theory, it is used in a lot of applications, not only in compilers. As you know, you can find me at RAD Basic in Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and in the last slide I share with you my email. Okay, this is the outline of this session. First, we will see why start this project. Secondly, I told you about RAD Basic Components, about architecture, and main goal compatibility. You will hear me a lot of times about compatibility. And finally, these presentations will end in current status. I want to be trustworthy. I want to share with you the real state of the project. I don't hide anything. And finally, what are you waiting? I think live demo, and Ama ask me anything. I want to answer your questions, and what you can question me anything. So start. Why? How to start? Uh, Here there are a little of my personally career. In 90s, I was a child and I learned to code in Basic as a lot of us. Personally, in GW Basic, that was shaped with Microsoft and the OS, Microsoft DOS, and then I make the jump with QBasic, and finally with Visual Basic. There was a very interesting decade, very interesting times in 90s, as we go for command line to GUI, and Visual Basic helps to us developing GUI applications. But in 2002, I think a lot of us get angry by the decision by Microsoft of abandoned Visual Basic 6 in favor of .NET. In fact, I think it was a commercial political decision, as Visual Basic 6, Visual Basic as it was, there were a lot of improvement, and it could be evolved without problems and maintaining backward compatibility, but Microsoft want to push .NET, and Visual Basic 6 as it was, it could be a competitor, an internal competitor for C#. Okay, in 2023 I was at university and I created my first compiler, so you could see that I doesn't new with compilers. I working with them for a lot of years, and this time was a transpiler, that is a translation from sorry, sound is low. Okay, let me see if I could okay, let me a second if I couldn't raise the volume. Rise properties, this height I raised to up. Okay, I hope the sound is better now. Okay, I will continue at my personal travel. In 2003, I created my first compiler. What it was, a a translate from source code, from pseudocode to other language, other source code that was Java. Other now, okay. Well, and in 2008 until 2016, I was working for various companies, and my field of work doesn't have any compilers at all. But in my mind was coming up the idea of do a Visual Basic 6 compatible compiler, but I was inexperienced in software engineer, and I lack confidence for do it until now. And okay, timeline of the project. Beginning 2018, I've made some research, and I found non-project product was compatible with Visual Basic 6 at all. And there was other projects that was some compatible. There was a dialect of Visual Basic, but what I was searching is a project that I could import, I could work with Visual Basic 6 project, forms, bus module, and working as it was in Visual Basic 6, as Visual Basic 7. In fact, something as LibreOffice or OpenOffice, working with documents of Microsoft Office, but obviously with better compatibility. I don't found anything suitable, and in mid 2010 I started to do some code and testing if it could be made with me. There was some challenges as render forms as it was in Visual Basic, working with native files, working with COM transparently. If you work with COM in C++, it is a little hard to do it. It is a complex technology, and in Visual Basic it was all very easy. Okay, and I see that it could be, and in ending 2018 the project starts, and in 2019 it was public with a website. I began publishing the first videos and working with social media, but as you could see, I was developing RAD Basic in my free time. I am working with my employer at full time, and RAD Basic was a project, a side project, do it in free time, eating time of my family. In 2021, I reach at a level that for achieving 100% compatibility, full compatibility, it is need a change from free time work to full time work. So this is the reason of this Kickstarter. I want to dedicate all of my time in RAD Basic. And why matters Visual Basic 6? 20 years more than the last version. Last version was in 1998, more than 20 years. So in 2021 there is a ton of maintained Visual Basic 6 applications. All of you sure are working with Visual Basic 6 applications, but uh, other people sure are using Visual Basic 6 application, and they don't know. But for development view, we need to modernize it. IDE Visual Basic 6 is old and it don't have modern features. There are some hacks, some workarounds, as the rack BBA or other environments, but and it is growing the agony. And in other way, uh, Visual Basic 6 runtime have minimum support for Microsoft, no new features, it is deprecated, and 2 summers ago, one update of Windows breaks the Visual Basic 6 runtime present in Windows 10. And I don't remember, but Microsoft, I think it fixed in days or 1 or 2 weeks. So this situation is unacceptable. We need a solution. And finally, the progress. 22 bits are supported, but 16.4 bits are pushings, and we don't know if 2024 or several years later it could be 32-bit unsupported by Microsoft. So we need a 64-bit solution too. Finally, some wording about full compatibility and the Pareto principle or 80-20 rule, that 20% of efforts bring 80% of results, and surprisingly, the other 18% of efforts bring only 20% of results. I think RAD Basic is in this situation now, and there is a solid foundations, but if we want full compatibility, there are a lot of problems that has to be resolved, and we have time, and there isn't enough time doing in free time of one person. Okay, let me introduce RAD Basic Components. First, the IDE. As you can see, it is a reimplementation, new and modern IDE with syntax highlighting, code completion, refactoring, themes. It is an update of Visual 6 IDE, but maintains that was Visual Basic 6 great, as the RAD environment. You can draw the controls, move, resize, etc. And the most important part, the compiler. The new compiler with 32, 64-bit support, and a new edition. It will be documented for use by users. In Visual Basic 6, anyone or very few people use Visual Basic 6 compiler from command line. It is called c2.exe, and have some obscure flags. There are some people who studied them, and it is published in a GitHub repo, but it was very hard to work. And if you can't use the compiler from command line, you can do interesting things nowadays as continuous integration, automated testing, etc. And the other important part are runtime libraries. In fact, when we speak about compilers, runtime libraries is often forgotten, and it is mm, as important as the compiler, in fact, because a compiler without a runtime, it is not useful. It can't do anything useful for the user. Yes, it could do some test, some count, some for, but it can write to the console. It can't draw a graphical, etc. So we implemented Visual Basic 6 runtime libraries that are important, compatible at source code level. What it means that it couldn't replace runtime libraries from Visual Basic 6 at runtime. You have to recompile your projects in RAD Basic. Doing it in runtime time, it's very hard, because you have to study all entry points of the DLL, and it is nearly impossible. But doing in its source code level, it is easier, as you have more freedom to make some adjust and study the behavior of Visual Basic 6. And in addition, it could be maintained and fixed bugs and add new features. It is a thing that you can do in Visual Basic 6 by now. You are constrained about support of Microsoft, that is, it runs as it is. The support at Microsoft is not break. Okay. If you don't mind, I will read chat later, and I will answer you later at the presentation. But you can write your questions in chat freely. Okay, and the last part is tooling and support utilities. As you can see in this picture, there are other utilities around RAD Basic, around IDE and compiler. That is the CLang. I show you later that RAD Basic is based in CLang. There are utilities of RBMake that help to do the compiling part. There are other utilities as Comigen for generating C code for COM classes for ActiveX, and others seen in past videos as Object Explorer, Social Library, etc. And while developments go further, it could be newer. Now I see we entered the most interesting block, that is architecture. How RAD Basic is built. First, let me introduce how a compiler works. A modern compiler architecture, as you could see in the left, are formed with two parts: front-end for a language, and back-end. The front-end for a language is based in a lexical analyzer and a scanner, a tokenizer that extracts the different parts of source code, that is a symbol, a variable, a keyword, while, if, switch, etc. Then it goes to the parser part, that is the syntax analyzer, that it is it is based in a grammar. Okay, a grammar defines how the language is written, how it works, defines that an if statement is configured by if keyword, condition, and then keyword, and finally statements that it will be executed if the condition is true. It is the syntax analyzer. And the semantic analyzer is the part that it finds that the symbols are exist, and the symbols are declared or existed before in the code, that the method belongs to this object, etc. And finally it generates intermediate code, that is IL. And as you see, there are several front ends with each generates the same intermediate code. So the backend part could optimize the intermediate code and generate the target machine code, the exe of Win32 with 32 exe file, or Aleph binary for Linux, or Mac OS X, etc. And the syntax semantic analyzer builds this picture of RAD, this AST, abstract syntax tree. As you could see, this is a representations in a tree of your source code. Okay. Well, the RBC compiler, the compiler of RAD Basic, it use ANTL, and that is a library from Terence Parr, and it is used in a lot of projects, in a lot of open source projects, and with an input grammar definition do the output of classes for lexical and syntax analyzer. So RAD Basic Compiler implements the front-end part using NTL and delegates backend optimization and generation of native code to CLang, that is the C compiler of LLVM. LLVM, it is an open source project for making compilers. As you can see, the RAD Basic Compiler, it is based in NTLR and implements inside the semantic analyzer and code generator. About code generator, RAD Basic generates C code from Visual Basic 6. And the runtime library of RAD Basic is written in C2. In fact, Visual Basic 6 works in approximately same way. When you are working with the code, it is interpreted by the virtual machine of Visual Basic, but when in the IDE selects the native code, Visual Basic 6 generates the intermediate code for your from your user code, and delegates the optimization and generation of native code to C compiler present in Visual Studio. If we go inside the compiler process, it could be divided in two steps. First, RAD Basic Compiler reads Visual Basic project file, forms, modules, classes, CTL definition of user controls, and generates C code, headers, and C files, and generates an special file that is rbmake.json, and this file, it is as ms build file or a make file, as a make file. Okay, it is a descriptor of how to compile these files, and which libraries have to be linked. Then the RAD Basic Compiler calls to rbmake. This is the second step, and rbmake reads rbmake.json and compiles all of the .c files with the header files, of course, and links to RAD Basic Runtime Libraries. At this moment, the RAD Basic Runtime are statically linked, so you don't need any external dependencies. It works as Go, as Rust, as Delphi. That the exe file have all the runtime, not the whole runtime, only the runtime needed for this application. And if this application used COM libraries, ActiveX, controls, etc., the RAD Basic Compiler generates the interfaces for working with COM, and these interfaces are compiled to in the finally executable. About which language are used to develop RAD Basic. First, RAD Basic Compiler is written in C# above .NET, because it is one of the outputs of NTL. NTL works mostly with outputs of Java, C++, and C#. For maintainability, the rest of tools, either toolchain, are writing in C# with .NET 2, only for not pick more language and difficult the maintainability and the future collaborative of the project. The Runtime Library is written in C, because the source code from Visual Basic 6 is translated to C2, and having importability in mind, because RAD Basic wants to be cross-platform in future. So generated executables are native there is not .NET dependencies. The only .NET is required for development environment, but when you deploy, when you distribute your executable, there is not dependencies at all. Okay, but why not why not written in Visual Basic 6? It could be great to have RAD Basic as a self-hosting compiler. A self-hosting compiler is a compiler writing in the same language as a lot of C compiler that are writing in C, or Go compiler is written in Go, C Sharp first versions I think not, but later version of .NET Core yes. But not all language are self-hosting compiler. For example, Java compiler from JDK from Oracle is written in C. The most used Python is written in C too. So self-hosting compiler is a good thing, but it is not mandatory. And why not? Because Visual Basic 6 is great for graphical applications. It is with some RAD environment, but it lacks support for command line. And the most important reason is that there are no tools as INTL for automatized lexical and syntactic analyzer. Sure, it could be written by hand. Only you have to be good with regular expressions, with state machine, but it slows down development. And going solo in this project, I need the high productivity tools, and the Eden language are pretty old, so we are here for an updated, and it will slow down to the development. And when the project began, we want to be as productive as was possible. But maybe it could be rewriting in future in RAD Basic itself. Let's see. About COM and OLE ActiveX support. RAD Basic supports COM. COM is a vast technology. There are a lot of ramifications, OLE ActiveX, automation, and distribute. And COM is a first citizen in RAD Basic. In fact, Visual Basic relies heavily in COM and ActiveX. RAD Basic toolchain, that is the commission.exe, do the plumbing for creating COM interface, working with C, working with type libs, and with the help of a library, RBecome lib, that is a library used in Runtime, generates the wrapper for working with COM interface with ActiveX. Generates header files and utility file for being called from application. And important thing, all is done with no user interaction. In fact, it is transparent, it is magic, as it was in Visual Basic 6. So using ActiveX, COM, OLE is as easy and transparent as it is in Visual Basic. But why not runtime of RAD Basic is COM based, as it is in Visual Basic 6. All of Visual Basic 6 runtime is based in COM. RAD Basic is designed with cross-platform in mind. First version, it won't be cross-platform because I am focused on compatibility. But I want, and a lot of you want, as it says to me, wants to RAD Basic goes to cross-platform. COM technology is very hard to be made in a portable way. In fact, COM is designed for cross-platform. Is not tied to Windows, but in practice there are a lot of oddities, a lot of details that are little windows, and it will be very hard to port to Linux and MacOS, and to mobile platforms. It will be nearly impossible as Android or iOS. So and it is easier for user to not have external dependencies, to do static linked, and only have an exe, a file that it could be distributed freely. But it is not an impediment, it is not a problem, because if it is needed, it could have a COM wrapper interface for runtime libraries. If you worked with .NET, you will see that classes in .NET could be exposed to COM. So COM, as it is agnostic language, it is not tied to any language. It could be exposed static libraries from RAD Basic to COM, so there is no problem, but it has a lot of advantages if you want to go to cross-platform. And you could use COM and RAD Basic and mixing with RAD Basic library in the same project with no problem. And if some problem arise, you could wrap the runtime, the RAD Basic runtime to COM. About cross-platform design, first version it won't be cross-platform, but it is designed to be cross-platform for further versions, for .0 version, 3.0 version. We will see. As you could see in the left, and this file is from RAD Basic runtime. It is a definition of a form, and this header, you could see there is no WinAPI. There is the implementation of RB form are hide, and as you could see on right, the library have in fact the implementation, because this implementation is tied to Win32, to WinAPI, but having one header with no clue that how the implementation is made, allows to do a cross-platform design, as allows to have several implementations of each platform. As you could see in this diagram, there are a lot of arrows. Let me explain. First, the compiling part. The compiler compiles the header, the C files, and it is only exposed the headers that are agnostic about implementation. There is no WinAPI at all at this moment. The purple line shows you how it could go. It could go for further versions. You could have different implementations of same headers. So there is one header as an API in runtime, and there will be a lot of implementations, one for each platform, and it could be swapped in compile time. If I want to compile to Linux, I swap to implementation of Linux. If I want to compile to Windows, I swap to implementation of Windows. This swap is not do it in compiling time, but it's do in linking time. When I link the libraries, I link the obj files, and I link the static libs. The compiler will pick the implementation selected in the project. So each of these implementations implements the same headers and could be swapped in link time. At 1.0 there will be only one implementation, the Windows implementation, but in further versions will be new implementations for different desktop environments. And finally, about architecture. The architecture of RAD Basic, of a wall of the product, is based in a 3-layer. One layer is the IDE, second layer is the compiler, and third layer is the runtime libraries. As you could see, there could be in your development flow 4 settings for ways of work. Setting 1 is a total transition to RAD Basic. Use RAD Basic IDE, use RAD Basic Compiler, and use RAD Basic Libraries. And setting 2 is using RAD Basic Compiler and RAD Basic Libraries. You compile with RAD Basic, but if you have impediments with RAD Basic IDE, if you feel more comfortable in Visual Basic, you could continue using Visual Basic 6 IDE and compile with RAD Basic. There will be a add-in. There will be an add-in for Visual Basic 6 that it could call directly RAD Basic Compiler, and from Visual Basic 6 you could generate an exe file with Visual Basic 6 runtime and an exe file with our RAD Basic runtime. Setting 3 is the most problematic. It could be used. I have tested the wall yet. I have tested some some libraries, but in fact you could go with Visual Basic 6 IDE, call the RAD Basic Compiler, and use Visual Basic 6 libraries. It is a real awesome mixing. The impediment is the which Visual Basic 6 libraries could be used. I am testing some of them, but at this moment, I am sincerely here. At this moment, I can't guarantee that all Visual Basic 6 libraries, Basic 6 libraries as intrinsic controls or as DAO could be used without problems. But the idea is that the most of Visual Basic 6 runtime could be used with RAD Basic Compiler. RAD Basic Compiler only needs a subset of this runtime, that is string manipulation, memory management, that it is heavily tied how to the compilers and the C code is generated, but other graphical activities, data access, etc., has to be used in RAD Basic, as it is based in COM, and we have a full, well, we will have full support COM. We have some oddities that I will explain later. And finally, setting 4 is more simple. That is, you are tired of Visual Basic 6 IDE. You want to develop with RAD Basic IDE, that is more modern, with refactoring and other good improvements, but you have some problem with RAD Basic Compiler at this moment with their Runtime Library, so you could develop with RAD Basic IDE, but compiles with Visual Basic Compiler and their Runtime Libraries. It could be done because RAD Basic works natively with Visual Basic 6 formats, so you could edit all of the Visual Basic 6 files without problem. And we will see more from this later in compatibility block. Finally, let me introduce the Sojo library. This library is in heavily development too, as other components of RAD Basic, and allows to use ActiveX components inside of 64 applications. As you could see here, and if you don't see the video, I invite you to see the Sojo video, Sojo demonstration video. Sojo library makes a wrap from ActiveX control, and using interprocess message using interprocess message, Sojo allows to make inside allows to introduce inside your 64 application 32-bit control. In theory, it could be made because a process couldn't mix address, couldn't mix 64-bit and 32-bit address. But the trick here is the ActiveX is run in another process, in a social process that is a 32 process, and your applications run in another process, in a 64-bit process. Windows allows to inside via handler window, inside one window of one process into another process, but it is only a visually trick, and you need intercommunication, a process message interaction for communicating between your application and your and ActiveX. This integration could be have some problems, and I think it can't work in each scenario, but it has to be used as a workaround when you need a 64-bit application and you need this control that you don't have the source code and you don't have a 64-bit version. Okay, I am repeatedly saying the word compatibility because it is the main goal of this project. In fact, a lot of other basic compilers, basic IDEs, there are others and great one didn't achieve to replace Visual Basic 6 because there wasn't focusing on compatibility. It lets you code with a dialect of Visual Basic 6, but there are some oddities. There are not full support at all. You have to do a conversion, you have to do a migration, as you have to do if you want to go with Visual Basic.NET. But these conversions, these migrations don't work for large projects. The truth is that conversions don't work and Visual Basic 6 remains here. So the first version of RAD Basic is focused on compatibility. There won't be new features or language enhancements yet because we don't want to be distracted of the main goal, that is compatibility. But it is not an announcement of Visual Basic.NET. It is not death. It is only the first version. Further versions will introduce new features and language enhancements as multi-threading, cross-platform, maybe try-catch exceptions. There are a lot of advances in Visual Basic.NET that are interesting and could be introduced in Visual Basic 6 or RAD Basic without losing the backward compatibility. another time compatibility. So I don't want talk about conversion or migration. I want to talk about transition. RAD Basic allows easy transition from Visual Basic. In fact, as it works with native files, you could go back and forth between environments. That is the different scenarios seen already. You could edit the files in RAD Basic and compiles it. You could go in Visual Basic and do some modifications and compiles in Visual Basic. Later, you could return to RAD Basic and make more modifications and compile again, and your project don't be trashed, don't be lose your modifications. You could work with both environments without problems. So there is no conversion, no migration to one direction. There is a transition that is working from Visual Basic 6 and goes working most of the time or full time with RAD Basic. But always your code modified in RAD Basic could be loaded and continue working with Visual Basic. RAD Basic follow Visual Basic language reference published from Microsoft, but not only this, we all know that there is a standard, but it is very hard that all the parts we speak at 100 at full the standard. So it behaves some way as Visual Basic 6 DAX and implements same tricks and oddities that have Visual Basic 6. In fact, and the most of the videos or all published by RAD Basic always begin with a Visual Basic 6 project with a Visual Basic 6 display, with a Visual Basic 6 environment, and then it shows that the same could be achieved in RAD Basic. More about compatibility. There are some properties, there are some things that are particularly of RAD Basic and it could be a problem in Visual Basic 6. For example, the platform configuration, and all of the extended properties of the RAD Basic are stored in a separate file, as you could see in a RB properties file, for preserve compatibility with Visual Basic 6 file format. So in native file formats of Visual Basic 6, there aren't no properties present in Visual Basic 6. All of the extended properties of RAD Basic goes in a separate file that Visual Basic 6 don't see. Okay, we are going to the end. The true current status. Okay, the truth. First, not as good. Okay, there is support now for using ActiveX, although it has to be improved. In fact, ActiveX is a hard technology work with C or C++. And now the commission it files with classes, with COM classes that have more than one interface, and sometimes although the COM class have only one interface, the output code have some problems and I have to tweak the output code, so it is not ready for public consumption yet. This things is an utility called OLEView. If you don't know, it is a great utility for doing inspection on type lib and definitions of COM, and it helped me a lot for developing the COM support in RAD Basic. At this moment, the compiler only support exe project types. It only generates exe files. I'm working in ActiveX generator. At this moment, ActiveX projects could be loaded in IDE, but the compiling fails. It has to be. It is and there are a lot of work to be done. So it is the normal, because we are starting this Kickstarter for going with the development faster than it goes until now. The IDE at this moment is very basic. Code completion is deactivated. In fact, it was some work in this in code completion, generating a special compile from grammar of INTL and doing a parser within the same process of RAD Basic. But I'm working now in transition of LSPA, Language Server Protocol implementation. That is the future. A lot of IDEs are working towards LSP, as Visual Studio Code, RAD Studio and Delphi, JetBrains, IntelliJ IDEA, and others. But this is the bad news. But it is not all bad news. There is a solid foundation. And these 2 years and a half work a lot with the core, but there is a lot of work to do for reach the full compatibility. And the good news, the true current status, the good one, it has support for basic flow structures, if while method calls, variable declaration, and some basic math operation. But there are a lot of to do in the Runtime Library. Core features are developed. It could compile some small application test. I have published videos and about calculator, auto navigating through database, a simple text editor. But there are small application tests already. And let me repeat myself. There is a solid foundation. There is a well-designed architecture. I try to show you that the architecture is well think, and it is think not only for one version. It is think for future, because the first step is bring Visual Basic 6 to present, but I want to, and I think you want to, make more steps to bring Visual Basic 6 and RAD Basic to future. And there are solved many challenges as Visual Forms Designer, COM support, partial COM support, but it will be improved, and designed for future cross-platform. Okay, let me do some live demo, because some of you only see videos close supporter have used um, a old compilation, but uh, um, if you if there are people that are that have doubts that it is working, that it is real, let me see in live how it could goes. Okay. The demos were pretty simple because I don't have enough time for preparing a more advanced. So if you saw the videos, there won't be any different, but it was in real time. Okay. For example, the basic calculator. Okay, you will see we'll have it here. We have the code, very simple code. Okay, the code could be improved. In fact, I have a branch in RAD Basic for array controls that is not finalized yet, but when I merge this branch into the develop branch of RAD Basic Compiler, I want to rewrite this example with array control here. Okay. Okay. It compiled. It goes to other display. You see that is the same. We can load in Visual Basic. Okay, I'll leave them to the other display. Sorry, and if I to open the same sample, could see this is the same here. Okay, and the code is the same. I don't have yet the separation for methods, for subs. Okay, it runs here, sample multiply, and if goes to here, we could do the same operation. Okay, but what about some improvement is that as the runtime is a new implementation, although there won't be new features at language level, it could be a small features at runtime level as 64-bit support, or as visual styles. Visual styles, let's introduce the styles from Windows XP, and the controls are rendered in the current theme. Okay, you could see these buttons are more elegant, and we have to build again. And if we another time, if you could go, you could see that there is more appealing for the user. Is this okay? Have a video here. Sorry. Okay. Okay, we have here, and if we run Visual Basic 6, could see that there is an improvement in visual. Okay, another demo. Close project, open project. It could be the web view. Okay, have some problem loading. This is the demo. It crashes the environment. Sorry. If you load again, I think it could go. Okay. We have the this com from from Internet Explorer, and if okay, it is working as a com here. Okay, this is a browser of Internet Explorer. As if we have go here, okay, well, it has some problem with JavaScript, I see. Okay, this is the demo effect. No, please not evoke this page. Okay, so okay, it loads, and the problem is that if you don't touch the register, this this Internet Explorer is working with Internet Explorer 6 engine, and these modern webs are failing with JavaScript and CSS, modern CSS. And for video, I made a register entry. You have to allow in the register the path of the executable for activates the Internet Explorer modern 7, 8 to 11 in the application. Okay, but if we'll find the application run, this is our application. It is searching already. Cancel, please. Okay, here this application that is compiled with RAD Basic, you could see here, let me find it, that okay, the Internet Explorer engine is working inside the application. There is no trick, there is no sojo here. It is loading the com and doing it here. Let me share with you that the com generated from the com generation of interface, the commission, I have to tweak the output code because the Internet Explorer ActiveX is very heavy, and it has problems with the C code output. Okay. In fact, com is very hard because when you generate the header, okay, you have to do in order and respect the signature of every method, and if you fail with one method, all is really mess, and the applications crash. Okay, it is very funny. And finally, okay, the idle sample, it works here. Let's configure it. Let me see the code. It is calling. Okay. Have to build manually. Run. Okay. Connect database. it is connected to this database. If we find the ODBC, find it in here, we see it is pointing, the target is here. It is here in this place. Okay, if we change some of the registers, let me change some of them. One moment, please. I have to find two projects, RAD Basic tests, I'll sample, and I open. I don't know why it is. Okay, it is the demo effect again. Why it is configured in Microsoft Office? Oh my god. I only want to open this database access. Okay. Well, we have some problem here with my Office installation. I see. No problem. No problem. Yes. Maybe we have mixed. and 32 bits. Let me go to 64. Okay, and we can change. No problem. We could see that we have a machine problem because I am pointing to 64 DNS, 64 ODBC, and the project is compiled to 32. So this is falling. This is falling. You can see that the error is here, architecture mismatch. Okay. So if we change here the platform and goes again, so again here, okay, this is working, and this is connecting to my SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, if we modify the registers, please let me a moment. Okay. We could modify here. Edit. Well, and it goes without problem. I can see user 3D printed kits that it wants to see a start to finish demo. I think a hello world. I regret that the new project it is not working. It is not working now, so it couldn't create a new project yet. from RAD Basic, but if you want, there is no problem for creating a simple application now in live in Visual Basic 6 and opening in RAD Basic and compiling it. Okay, if you agree, we can now begin a new project. Okay, a new project with a form. Okay, I will do some fast. Okay. Hello world. From this awesome webinar of RAD Basic presentation. Okay, we'll testing here. Okay, it works, and we'll save it. Basic samples, the webinar sample, save and save. And here field close project, we have some book here closing the project. It crashes 2 times already. Open webinar sample project 1. We have the same form generated now, the same code generated now. Okay, it will build, and we are working too. In fact, we could take side by side the 2 window. Okay, and they are working as expected. I think 3D printed kits that it was what I want. Okay, a sample hello world from scratch. You could see that there is no problem. Of course, with more complex applications, problems will arise of some keywords not implemented yet, or some other problems, but it is RAD Basic is in a pre-alpha state. It is a working project that it has to be improved a lot in no more. Designer works. Okay, Roberto, at this moment it can't add new components, but it could be resize the component. Okay, it is a limited work here. Well, if you don't mind, as I think it will be an hour or an hour and a half, and I see that the times goes very fast. We could go with an a time. Okay, I will answer all of your questions, and if you have some questions, post it in, and I will try to answer as well as I can. Okay, I will go to later. Okay, user Great Cooks say that it could be here, but leave one question. will RAD Basic compatible with all third-party 32-bit ActiveX controls and .NET Interop and their Visual Basic 6 projects use those now, and this is a need for him. Okay. Yes, the idea is that RAD Basic will be compatible with all ActiveX controls. As I said, at this moment the COM support is partial. There have some problems that it could be solved with time. There is no problem. It's only that the tool has to be improved, and it will be in further months. Okay. And about .NET Interop, I didn't test anything yet, but what I see in other applications, I see that I think that it will be no problem for support it. Okay. About Kevin Sandel, the variant type hold 64-bit values, or there is a new type for that. At this moment it will hold 64-bit values. In fact, the variant type is a dynamic one, and depending of the type of it is holding, the memory the memory is memory allocated is different. But in variant it will honors what type of project is allocated inside the variable. Okay. Robert Spear says, are there plans to have the break and edit continuability to Visual Basic 6 had? Yes, there are plans, not at this moment, and I can't guarantee that edit and continue feature that is a great feature in Visual Basic 6 would be in first version in Visual Basic in RAD Basic 1. Okay, it could be, but it depending of resources and effort. Edit and continue feature, it is a hard one, because for debug, if you debug directly the exit generated, that it could be a way. It is the simple way. Okay, with helping of LLVM utilities, you could insert breakpoints and inspect the values of variables. But in an exe file you can't modify the image. You can modify the process that is running in memory. Only inspect portion of memory. Okay, so for edit and continue feature, we need for debug a virtual machine for executing it. Okay, it will have the debug interpreted, so you could modify and reinterpret the code. Okay. I want this feature present in Visual Basic. In RAD Basic, and if I have enough resource, it will be in RAD Basic 1.0 version. If I couldn't, don't. So it will be in future versions in 2.0 version. Okay. Okay, problems of sound here and there. I am going down the chat. How many of them they for sure? Well, okay, try to see the no. Okay, the sound, a lot of comments about the song. Sorry about the the bad beginning. Okay, great. Okay. Well, Hugo Paulo says he maintains huge application with millions of code lines in Visual Basic 6. It will be a great environment for testing. Winston Podger have two applications that pale his builds in Visual Basic 6. Okay, you think in the future is that RAD Basic could work over a virtual machine that could be run on any operating system? Theo, I think Theo is saying Theo is saying, sorry, Theo is saying, you think that in the future is possible that RAD Basic could work over a virtual machine that could be run on any operating system. I think Theo is referring to a Docker image. Okay, the more simple scenario here is that RAD Basic will be cross-platform in the future, and RAD Basic will be cross-platform in future, and RAD Basic could could run in Linux, so you could prepare an image, a Docker image with Linux and your executable of RAD Basic, and this Docker image could run in any operating system support by Docker or any of the orchestration of containers, Kubernetes, etc. Alexa S says, do you plan to add resource editor like in Visual Basic 6? And yes, Alexa, I plan it, but in my list of priorities it is at low priority, because first is have a compatible environment, a compiler that works, and if I can't reach resource editor in RAD Basic 1, in first version, it will be in further versions. But yes, I want to have a resource editor in RAD Basic. Okay. Will there be a secure WinSock and iNet controls? And yes, there will be. In fact, let me share with you. Okay, one moment, please. At radbasic.dev, there are these editions link that compares the editions and the features available in each edition, and I think it is a little hidden. Sorry, here there are the list of RAD Basic components that will be shipped with RAD Basic. These components are rewritten components, so there are full support of them, and one of the components is RBNet, that is a reimplementation of WinSock and MAPI for emails. So this reimplementation will be working with current technology, HTTPS, TSL, etc. Okay. Walsingham says, would registration-free COM still work? And yes, it will do. Registration-free COM will introduce in Windows XP, I think. So the COM could work without the call to special reserve 32.x, and it it helps to solve a lot of problems about ActiveX not registered in target machines and user machines. Okay, yes, it will work. RAD Basic one-man show at this moment, yes. I don't want to make Power Basic mistake. In fact, I was I was a little fan of Power Basic, not for Robert Dahl. I think it was the the, the main developer. No, but in when I begin with QBasic, QBasic was an interpreted one, and I don't have Kick Basic or PDS Basic, and I don't have a real basic environment for those that could generate exe files only interpreted. And Power Basic, I discovered Power Basic by casual, by as a surprise, and when I see that I could generate real exe files, it was whoa, an incredible thing. Okay, but I don't want to be a one man show. If I have enough resource, I want to make a small team and help to go further at basic. In fact, my initial idea is that Core and the compiler and Core libraries go for open source, and the community could help, and don't repeat the mistake of Power Basic, and don't repeat the mistake of Microsoft. So I don't want that in one moment it could be close, it could be goes for no for incompatibility. So making the Core open source, the community will have the trustworthy that it will remains always compatible, and it will goes it never goes by the path of VisualBasic.net with an incompatible version. Okay. Let me see. But it's a good language, so long as it's compatible with basic use ActiveX control. Sure. What capacity limits are? Any max forms, any max bus files, any max okay, 3D printed kits. In theory, there are any limits. Only the memory, the internal structure is a list that is growing as it has more items, that but it is not a max capacity of forms and modules. Okay. Sorry, Juan Carlos, for antivirus deleting your exe file. Antivirus have sometimes a false positive. Okay, 3D printed kits. Thanks for the suggestion for Juan Carlos problem. Support, yes. Okay. Hugo Paulo, simple SDA development. I think that you refers to how it was shaped Visual Basic 4, that is with floating windows. At this moment it is not planned. It goes with an MDA interface with tabs. Okay. PJ says will RAD compile code run faster. At this moment, I didn't make any profiling, but in theory, yes, it will run faster because it is compiled all to native code. The problem with Visual Basic 6 that your user code is compiled to native code, but you have the runtime in ActiveX, and there are a lot of calls that it could be compiled into the exit that goes to indirections and goes to Microsoft virtual machine, to the MSVM 6DLL. Okay. Hugo Paulo about automated denting, and there is not at this moment, but it will be as automatic capitalization as it goes in Visual Basic 6 and syntax highlighting. Okay. The kids, can we have a copy of this PPT file uploaded at some point? Sure, I will upload in the blog of RAD Basic Dev, and I will say in social media, so you could have and share freely with no problem. Can you split the code into individual subs rather than just a huge list? Okay, so the kids, I see you say I don't know if you say this. Okay, let me grab a bigger, for example. Now if you say this that you can swap of saying only one method at time or all, I don't know. If you could explain more this question, 3D printed kits. Okay, demo. Okay, this to create a hello wall about the demo. Excuse me, I have lost what I was. Okay, if I miss something, please replay. Okay, please don't take. We have seen demos. Okay, demos. We have see the signal. Okay, nice job. Paco Perry. 64 bits PPS run better or faster. Better, no, runs some way. Faster depends on your application. If you have a great amount of data, your applications could be run faster. And if not, if your application is simple, your 64 bits could run at the same speed or maybe sometimes slower, because it has to allocate and target more memory. Okay. And has any debugger step-by-step execution? Not this moment. The book feature, it has not begin this development, but it will be in further months. Okay. And finally, Paco Perez, can we use .c and the tag files to port our app to C#? I don't take this. I understand that you want to grab the output generated by the compiler and port this output to C sharp, I think that it will be um, the effort that didn't won't pay off, because you have to translate C code that is low level to C sharp. I think that it will be better to try to translate your application from Visual Basic 6 to C sharp, as there are higher level language than C. Okay, Christian says about date for version community. At this moment, the planification is for February 10, 20, February 2022 for final version of version community, and in Kickstarter the the bakers could access to first alpha and beta versions before the end date of February of next year. Could I just ask everyone here on the chat, rather than just spending months getting the new editor fully working at the moment, perhaps consider getting the compiler to NeoX working through the printed kits? Yes. In fact, I see all as a wall product, because Visual Basic is a RAD application. It was born as a RAD application, so I tend to think the whole product as the visual part, the editor, the designer, and the compiler, the runtime libraries. But if the Kickstarter is not successful funded, sure, I have to rethink how the project will continue. Okay. Okay, Paco Paris, you think RAD Basic Compiler programs have better execution on Windows than Visual Basic compiled programs? I don't know. I think that it could be more elegant. It could be rendered more smoothly, as it is compiled about newer version of WinAPI and use newer versions of API. In fact, Visual Basic 6 runtime is compiled. The runtime is compiled against WinAPI of ANSI. Okay, and RAD Basic is compiled for white string, so it is easy for internationalization of your applications. Okay. Okay, Carl Green suggesting that concentrate only with compiler and let alone Visual Basic 6 designer in concentrating later. Okay, Pietro Vignelli, it's the question of my Leon. What happens if the Kickstarter campaign does not reach the goal? Okay, I don't stop the project at this moment. Okay, because I have a lot of hours, and Kickstarter campaign could be not successful reaching the fundraising, but I grow the community. I talk with a lot of people. A lot of people are encourage me, so I want to continue. Okay. I don't know how. I'm thinking as Patreon or some other monthly fee, maybe a Patreon or maybe a monthly fee directly for the web, because I have some problems. Well, I don't have. Some people have problems with Kickstarter registering, and I'm not sure if goes to another platform as Patreon, or only create a payment with a PayPal or a Stripe in the RAD Basic page, and with a very low monthly fee for fund the development, and I could concentrate working full time with development. I see, and I will announce when the campaigns end. Okay. 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 So the printed kits goes with compiler. Okay. Ovidio is. I would like to know what would be the goal for the monthly fee for the development to continue. Okay, the goal will be funding the development as a patron, as a supporter of the project, and uh, if there is no problem in June or July, there will be the first alpha, and the patrons, the people that will paying the monthly fee, a monthly fee that will not go very high. I will saying about 5, 10, 15, 20 euros or dollars. Okay, it's a very low fee. Will we have early access to the alphas? Okay, I planning to release versions or each 2 weeks or monthly. So the people paying the monthly fee will have early access to the application. We will have will follow the development, and when the develop goes further, I have set up a Jira for ticketing issues, so people could register these issues, and we could work together to bring RAD Basic alive. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your congrats. Annibal says, I have a legacy product that is currently working. In order to make this work, I need to migrate the files this application is using. It is possible for the compiler to declare all variables types in the old format. There is order to migrate user files from. Okay, Annibal, I don't explain right. I think there is no migration. Okay, if you have a legacy product working in Visual Basic 6 or Visual Basic 5, you don't have to migrate anything. You could open your files in the old format, and there is no problem working with them, and you don't have to go to 64 bits if you don't want to. You could continue with 32 bits without no problem. Okay, both platforms are supported. 3D printed kits says, if you get the compiler done first, not only would be army of 16 or so people here use it, but that can be commercial product to fund the long-term development. Yes, I see this, but as I say, I have the vision of the Visual Basic, and RAD is the same part of the visual. Okay, RAD Basic has to be a visual part. If the fundraising didn't achieve the want to achieve the the goal, I have to rethink the project, and it could be a via. Okay, thanks for the suggestions. Okay, thanks. Ingo Palevka says that it could be here from the beginning. Okay, I think if I don't make any mistake, that the video is recording in YouTube, and you could say the word later. Okay. Okay, 3D printed kits make some math about how to reach the goal things. But I think that a monthly fee of 69 is too high too. Okay. Yes, 3D printed kits. In fact, I have two close collaborators from community. In fact, three, and he ran a previous version of RAD Basic, and they helped me about making suggestions and ideas and registering bugs and enhancements. And I plan to grow to a small group of members who help me to going further with the project and improve it. Okay. Okay, I lost again the. Okay. I want to answer all questions. Okay, thanks Red Cooks for the suggestion of Patreon. I'm thinking in it too. Pangayotis says will sound Vorbis or MIDI MP3 supported too. Sound playing song. I'm planning to support too, but I didn't start any development yet. In fact, some people making games contact me previously, and it is interesting that RAD Basic plays friendly with with games creators. So music is a part of it. In fact, my two passions in software is compilers and video games creation. I make some playing with Unity, and I love RAD Basic could goes with games creation and with engines or with game level editors or whatever. Okay. I hope implemented soon. Yes, Panjotis. Okay. Yes, that one. When you click the soup only rather than all. Okay. So in the petty kits, it's the my question of okay. Yes, I want to introduce the same behavior of Visual Basic 6, the this lane separator and these two view, okay, with the combos here for the components and the events of the components. Yes, it is not, but it will be. Okay, thank you. Miguel Manzano about RAD Basic support conditional compilation flags, not in the first version, not in 1.0 version. As I state, I don't want to introduce new features or enhancements, but it will be in further versions, because conditional flags is a must for cross-platform. Okay. About Malden Mijahovic, limited commercial use for community edition. The idea of community edition is only for open source or for individuals. So The limited commercial use, it is explained here, is that a small business that the revenue is less than 100 $100,000. Okay. If not, you go with a standard edition that is not very high. The fee, there are no limitations at all. Okay. Deal with implicit variables. You say about don't have option explicit. Yes, there is it will deal with variables not declared. At this moment it needs for compiling the option explicit, but final version will deal with implicit variables. It is all for compatibility. Your code, if not using if you don't using explicit variables, you have to compile you will compile your project in RAD Basic with modifications. So for compatibility issue, yes, it deals with implicit variables. Okay. Sultandinia, I don't know if I say how often will you publish alpha or beta versions. If in if I could go with a full-time work, okay, and I could plan my working. The idea is publish a new version, alpha or beta, or two weeks, okay, each 2 weeks, or monthly. If I could stay with 2 weeks, it will be I am a fan of Scrum, and the Scrum the Scrum will be of 2 weeks, and at the final I will publish the version. Okay. Paco Paris, will be commercial version after Kickstarter finish. Yes, this is the idea, and there were these prices, these fees published, because the Kickstarter is the initial effort for first version, but I don't want to end RAD Basic when it achieved the initial version, when it achieved the 1.0 version. I want to bring Visual Basic 6 to present, that it was RAD Basic 1, and to future that will be RAD Basic 2, 3, 4, 5. So when Kickstarter finish, there will be a commercial version for funding new versions of RAD Basic, for funding cross-platform, for funding enhancements in language, etc. Okay, yes, 3D printing kits. I see compiler is one of the most feature needed. Okay. Okay, thank you for the suggestions about funding. I would open source the GUI design in the community to work the GUI, which you could say that the RAD compiler. Carl Green, the idea is different, because I want to have some revenue later for developing further versions, and I think that compiler and runtime libraries is have to be open source, because it is the most important thing for compatibility, and you see that compatibility is the most important for me and for this project, and RAD Basic IDE and some uh, premium libraries are the are the ways for getting revenues to development future versions. Okay, thanks, iLibre. Okay, thanks for your congrats and for encourage me. Okay, thank you. Okay, yes, 3D printed kits conditional flags is important. Okay. And Duncan will have new controls, and yes, this moment for first version it is not planned new controls, but yes, new libraries as the RAD Basic library for Active Directory. Okay, but in future, yes, it will have new controls for sure. I want to use new controls introduced in newer versions of Windows, in Windows 7, 8, and Windows 10. Okay, and yes, 3D printed kits, it is possible to run the compiler in command line. In fact, it is one of the it is one of the representations that the compiler is for user. Okay, for example, this auto sample run already. If I have the output exit is generated in the build directory. Okay, if I okay, I don't remember that the always thing is here. Yes. Okay, there are no build. Okay, yes, there is the build directory. Okay, if I call RBC against the Visual Basic project, it will compiles and it generates again the build directory, and inside the build directory there are the exe that it could be run again goes here. Okay, and it is the same as it goes. Okay, are there current controls that had once just wrappers of the Microsoft One? No, this is implemented again using the Microsoft ones. I understand you say about the ActiveX. It is not a wrap above ActiveX. It is using WinAPI, using common controls, using create window, the call of create window of the Windows API. So it is a new implementation because RAD Basic wants to make support about these new controls. Okay, if I wrap the ActiveX controls, I can't make customer support. I can't fix anything because the code is from Microsoft. So it is necessary to re-implement all the controls for support, for customer support, and for going to 64. In fact, let me show that in the RAD Basic, binary. Okay, the runtime library, there are this file that is a descriptor that include that show you before in the presentation, that is agnostic from the platform, and the static library here. Okay, compiled to 32 bits and compiled to 64 bits. Okay, and the linker pick one or another depending of the platform configuration of your project. Okay. Okay, I see. Well, I think that it ending here. Thank you very much, all of the people attending this presentation. I am very grateful because most of you collaborate in the Kickstarter campaign, and thank you for encourage me for my work. Okay, I only have to say that independing how goes Kickstarter campaign, RAD Basic no ending here. It will have another way to getting funding and to continue to final version, and I want to do further versions of RAD Basic. Okay, thank you very much, and we we chat from social media, and reach me in social media, in Kickstarter message, or mailing me without no problem. Bye bye. Thank you, 3D printed kids.